Hey, Disney cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community, where we are here to help you plan, prepare for, and get excited for your Disney cruise. You guys know me. I'm Rebecca, your host and admin of the DCL community, and I am so excited because today we are ranking the Disney Cruise Line ships. We have a brand new member to the family, and fresh off of a sailing on the Disney Destiny. Tammy, thank you so much for joining us. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself as people are coming in?
Yes, my name is Tammy Whiting, and I own Storybook Destinations, and I am the author of the Unofficial Guide to Disney Cruise Line. I've done over 70 Disney cruises now. It's crazy.
Goals.
It's crazy, and many other lines. And but Disney's right at the top for me. It always will be. And so I thought it would be fun to rank the 7 ships now that I've sailed on all of them. Like Rebecca just said, I just got off a preview for the Destiny, and I'm getting back on the day after tomorrow for the Maiden Voyage.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's a good sign that you're getting back on. That means that you enjoyed it. And if you're sitting here and you're just like, wow, over 70 Disney cruises, that's amazing. Yes. And that is exactly why you should reach out to Tammy and her team. They will take such great care of you, and they will take all of this experience that they have, this firsthand experience, and put it to work for you so that you can have an amazing Disney cruise line vacation. And bonus points, their planning services are actually free for you to utilize. So let them be that resource in your planning. But I'm so curious to get into these. Now, full transparency, I have not been on the Destiny or even the Treasure yet. I still have to get on the Treasure. So my opinions will be slightly biased based on that. But let's go ahead and dive into some of the comparisons here.
Yes, I thought it would be easiest to break it down to some of the things that you most want to know about probably on a new ship. And we'll highlight what's on the Destiny for each of these since I just got off. But we'll break down what's the differences between each category here and which one is my favorite. And at the end, I will tell you how I would rank all 7 of them.
Beautiful. That sounds like a great plan. Okay, let's start with staterooms.
Okay, staterooms. These are pretty easy. They're pretty similar across the fleet. They all kind of have the same general feel for it. They all have a split bathroom. Disney kind of invented those for cruise ships or pioneered those on cruise ships. And they all have bathtubs, which is very unusual for other lines. I don't know of any other large ocean line that has tub standard in there. And I'm a tub person at night. I like a bathtub. And so I'm very happy they kept bathtubs in all of their ships except for the Adventure. That's another story. Whole different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they did change a few things. The Magic and the Dream class do have drawers and more storage. There's some drawers in the Wish class, but not very many. And so where you would have opened up the closet and found a bunch of drawers or even a dresser with drawers on the Magic and Dream classes, on the Wish class, including the Destiny, it's really mostly just shelves. So my tip for that is packing cubes help with that. Packing cubes are great for organization, and they're great to hold things on those shelves, I think.
Yes, it's such a good point. I've seen some of the hangers before, and just reminder here, you're not putting any over the door hooks onto the doors. You can bring the magnetic hooks to hang things, and Tammy has so many great ways for optimizing space in the stateroom, but just remember to not put anything over the doors. But I totally agree. I miss oh gosh, like the Ottoman coffee table sort of deal that would lift up and have that. Yes. Like, come on, Disney. At least they gave us, and you probably have it on here, but like the nightlight in the bathrooms on the Wish class, that was a bonus.
That is very true. They gave us nightlights and they gave us hand soap in the bathrooms for when they started.
It's the little things.
Okay, so the Wish class, what they did change in the other ones, the first 4 ships have a very classic theming, nautical kind of theming. They all look pretty similar, even more so. And then when the Wish class started, they started putting IP in their staterooms, which I love. I think is very fun. I don't think it's over the top. It's not like you walk in and there's a giant, statue of Merida sitting there. It's more really just 2 paintings in the room that they're both themed to whichever kind of stateroom you have. And we have a list of every ship, what deck and what specific staterooms have each theme. So you can say, I love Merida, or I love Big Hero 6. I love Cinderella. We can tell you exactly which staterooms have that theming in there. So it's not going to make or break it if you don't like something because it's so subtle. But if you love a particular movie theme, then we can help you find it.
Yes. Oh, I love that you guys are so organized and have that. And it's all those little details, like in the lights, the cutouts in the lights. It's just it's beautiful. The Wish class ships do a great job as far as decor goes. That they totally win at.
Yes, and I think the Wish itself has slightly darker wood than the Destiny and the Treasure. The Destiny and the Treasure both went with a lighter color wood in the staterooms, and I didn't realize how big of a difference that would make to me. It makes the room feel much lighter and brighter inside, and so I really prefer the lighter wood between those three of the Treasure and Destiny.
Good to know. Okay. And what about some of these specifics?
Some of these specifics on the Wish class. There's no deluxe inside, which means there are no split bathrooms for inside staterooms on the Wish class. Um, they're they are all category 11s, and they have those on the other ships as well. But the other ships also have a category 10, which puts a split bathroom in an inside stateroom. The Wish class does not have that, all three of them. On the Magic and the Wonder, I think Disney underestimated the number of large families that would sail with them. And they have some veranda staterooms that sleep five, but that gets pretty expensive. And so the Dream, and when it first came out, they have ocean view staterooms that will sleep five. And so it's a more economical option than the veranda. And so the Magic and the Wonder are the only two that don't have those. Also really popular in the Ocean View, in the family Ocean View category that sleep five are the 8As. And those are only on the Dream and Fantasy. And they're these giant rooms with two large portholes that are all set up a little bit differently. People love them, and they did not bring them back on the Wish class ships. So
such a bummer on that one. And this next one, the portholes. I wish they would keep these.
I do too, and I have never heard a good explanation for why they did not bring those back after the Dream and Fantasy. They were so popular that they cost more than Ocean View rooms often because people love those virtual portholes, and they did not bring them back. There's some other cruise lines like Royal Caribbean that went all in on virtual verandas and things like that, and they really don't put those on their new ships either. And so my guess is that they determined it was really, really expensive to upkeep and not worth it. That's my only guess.
Yeah, on my future ship, those are going to be an all-time, like, give everybody a portal. That's a magic portal. That's what we definitely need. And we got a question here. What are some of the examples of the IP on the Wish class ships in the staterooms?
Let's see. I was just on, they're all jumping out at me from the Destiny since I was just on there. So there we saw Merida, we saw Hercules, we saw Big Hero 6 on the Treasure. Some of them you'll see Aladdin, you'll see, let's see, let me just broaden it a little bit. Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty.
I'm trying to think. Is Tiana? There's a lot. There's so many of
them. Encanto, yeah, Encanto's one. Yeah, I mean, there's so many, and the paintings are really pretty. They did a really good job with them.
Yes, they kind of remind me of those, like, I think his name's Thomas Kincaid, the painter who does all the hidden one. It's like that level of detail.
I agree.
Oh, it's so, so good. And what about Concierge?
So Concierge, it got a little better with each class of ship, and they have gone back and added things to the older classes, like the Magic and the Wonder. They added a lounge and whatnot when they found out how popular those were on the Dream class. But on the Wish class, there are not just a ginormous lounge and a ginormous sun deck, which it does have. The staterooms themselves, there's so many options. There's so many different kinds of concierge staterooms. Hopefully everyone can find one that's looking for a concierge stateroom. Everyone can find one that fits the makeup that they want. 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms with a veranda, without a veranda. So many options.
Yes, I was gonna say, and if you are sitting there right now and you're like, what the heck is a concierge stateroom? Please reach out to Tammy. She has got you covered on every type of concierge stateroom, what the perks are, and if it's worth it for your family or not. Oh, I wish I was sleeping in a stateroom tonight and not my room. Oh.
Yeah, these are the four of the different ideas we were just talking about. The top left there is the Magic, and then right next to that is the Fantasy. I believe it's Fantasy or Dream. But you can see they're pretty similar nautical theme there. And then the bottom left is the Wish, and on the right is the treasure. So you can kind of tell the difference between the wood colors there, which is what I like on the treasure and
Yes, and
destiny.
I know that somebody is going to be watching like, oh, well, clearly the new ships are the best because they're newer. But Disney does such a great job maintaining all of their fleet. So even though the Magic, she's in her 20s, which I'm still in my 20s. But even though she's in her 20s, she still looks great. We just sailed on her last year. You've sailed on the Magic and Wonder recently too. They
I have.
do a great job.
They do. They do. And I am going to say that later. I would not hesitate to sail on any class of ship, any of the ships. They all are wonderful.
Yes, truly. Oh my gosh. Get me on any of the ships any day. But okay,
Yes.
so winner here, you think is the Destiny?
Winner's the Destiny, and that is mostly because I like all the different stateroom types, the new stateroom types for that they've added for concierge and those secret suites that we talked about on a previous live with you. And the Destiny and the Treasure really very equal. I just picked the Destiny because they're a little bit newer.
Yes, yes, love that. And then what room concierge Disney Destiny? What is the theme of the concierge rooms on the Destiny? Do you remember? I know it's literally fresh.
Yeah, they vary a little bit. The two of them that were really neat. The tower is Marvel themed. It's like a Tony Stark's room, office maybe. And then the two stories had one of them was called the Incredi Suite, and one of them was called the Hero Suite. And the Hero Suite was Hercules, and the Incredi Suite was the Incredibles. And so there's a lot of Hercules and Incredibles up there. Really, really good.
Love that. Oh my gosh. Sign me up. Those suites.
Yes.
Drooling. They're so pretty. Okay,
Yeah.
what about entertainment and activities?
You and I were just talking about this, and
Boy,
the first, in general, longer sailings are going to have more options, like little things like towel folding classes and maybe dance classes, different things in general. But the Wish class ships really upped the game for activities and entertainment on board. They tried new things, and especially the Destiny, they tried new things that Disney has not done before. And each of those three ships has two characters that are unique to just those ships. And these two characters pop up in many different things throughout the sailing. On the Wish, it's the Lord and the Lady, and they have other names. Lord, I've forgotten her names, but the Lord and Lady on the Wish, Sage and Coriander on the Treasure, and Zaya and Gamble on the Destiny. And they will pop up in some of the adult at night, and when the adult exclusive areas, they'll run some things. They on the Destiny, Zaya and Gamble were inside DeVille's helping rewrite a song about Cruella, who popped in during that. They'll show up on in the Grand Hall for different shows. Sage and Coriander run a Jungle Cruise show that's a fun activity, a 30-minute activity show that's audience participation in the Grand Hall one night. So they really added some neat things. They bring a lot to the ships and to the entertainment, I think.
oh, that's awesome. I could not agree more. Of course, the cruise staff in general that's at all of these things, they're responsible for all the entertainment on board. They are fantastic, but just adding those signature kind of characters, hosts, whatever we want to call them, to the ship, I just feel like it adds the extra layer of personality for the ship itself rather than it being tied to the cast member. So
Yeah,
I agree. I love that.
yeah, that's a good point because the ships really all have a lot of the same activities like trivia, chip at golf, Jack's Diaper Dash, although it's called it's called Little Heroes on Destiny. So I don't know.
Was that necessary?
Tell you what, I scrolled right by it in the app. I had no idea that's what it was. So it really threw me off.
Yes, but of all of the ships that you're going to change the name for that on,
I don't know.
Disney, we love you, but we're gonna question you on that one.
Yep, I don't know why they changed the name on there, but yes. So these extra characters just added on to what they already had.
Love that. And what about this parlor takeover? What is all this about?
So Dr. Facilier's it's a neat experience because it's very, very different than anything Disney has done on board before. And it's kind of secretive, kind of meant to feel like a pop-up, but it's not a pop-up because it's in your navigators, in your list of activities, and it's got a time on it and all of that. So it's not a secret, but they are secretive about what happens inside this little room. And so this little room is the Disney studio. It's really just a very small room right off the Grand Hall that you would normally just walk by. The Destiny uses it for some general meet and greets, but occasionally, once a day, once every other day, Dr. Facilier's parlor will pop up in there. And it has to say that word parlor because he does meet and greets in there during different times. And they take groups of 8 to 12 people inside the room. It's a 10-minute show and no photographs are allowed. No filming is allowed. And I don't want to spoil it, so I won't spoil it, what happens in there. But the line gets very long. And because they're only taking small groups in, you can actually wait quite a while for it. But it's really neat just because it's so different. Something so different. Disney just hasn't done anything like that before on their ships.
Yes. Oh, I love this. And I appreciate you not spoiling it because I hate a spoiler. I'm like, let me see. I don't want to watch the YouTube video before I go. Like, let me experience kind of these activities for myself once I'm on board. So I appreciate that. And yeah, I love that Disney's letting the theme of the ship bring some of the entertainment to life. It's not just the piano bar with the martini and, as much as we love a good piano bar, but that Cruella aspect to it. And she comes in like it's that next level. So I love that. And I can see why you would pick the Destiny here.
That's exactly why I picked the Destiny. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Question. Do you think, and this is us totally just spitballing here, we don't have any inside information, but do you think as we see this successful on the Destiny, could you see this popping up on the Magic or the Dream classes in the future?
I think it certainly could go back to the Wish and Treasure very easily because they'll have that same space there. The Magic and the Dream class, yeah, I mean, I think they could do it there too. They don't have that specific space, but I would think they could find a space like that to do something similar if it seems very popular. And it definitely was very popular on the preview cruise.
Yes, I'm thinking, kind of rebrand one of the spaces for an IP movie. As much as I love the non-themed spaces like Keys and O'Gills, right? They're great. But if they could rebrand one of those and just have a little corner area during a dry dock, sign me up. Oh, I love the golden Mickeys. Okay, let's talk about shows.
Okay, so shows, each ship kind of has a signature show, even though some of them are repeated on other ships. It's kind of the show that maybe it started on that ship, or maybe it was brought to that ship later. Like on the Wonder, it's Frozen, which did come to other ships eventually. The Magic, it's Tangled, and Magic's still the only one that has Tangled. The Dream, it's Beauty and the Beast. It's kind of their headliner shows is the word I'm looking for there. And the Fantasy brought Aladdin. So then we get to the Wish class ships. The Little Mermaid was the first one. It's not loved by everyone. It's not the best show, and it says nothing about the quality of the performers. They're amazing.
Yes.
It's just it's hard to do an underwater show in general on a stage, and so it's not met with overwhelmingly positive reviews.
No. And I feel like that's the only one across the fleet that it needs some love. It needs some retweaking or bring one of the old classics back. Yes, I could not agree with you more. That one kind of caught me off guard. I think the thing that was strange for me was just seeing some of the actors, without tops on stage, because typically they have some sort of like covering on while they're up there. Yes. So that was interesting, and nothing about the performers themselves. They were great. It was just the flow of the show. Yes. Yeah.
And so then the Treasure came out, and so the Treasure brought Moana, which again you're worried. Okay, there's a lot of stuff happening on the water in the show. How are they going to do this on stage? Yes. And it's amazing. And I mean, just Everyone loves it. I haven't talked to anyone, I don't think, that wasn't impressed by it. The puppetry, the performers, and I think I have seen 3 different casts now for Moana. Definitely at least 2 different casts. And every time I've been like, okay, they're great. They're the first cast, I thought no one's going to be able to repeat this. They're so perfect for their roles. And then the next one I was like, okay, no, they've got that many talented performers in Disney's repertoire there that I've loved all of them. And so Moana blew me away.
Oh my god.
And then,
I
sorry, I
need
don't,
to see that one.
yeah, I don't know what happened to my other list of the ships there in the shows. Oh, well, yeah. But it
Yeah.
is, so the next came Hercules, Hercules with the Destiny. And Hercules is good. It's a good show. It had big shoes to fill with Moana because Moana was so wonderful. And Hercules has great performers. Hercules is so good. And the muses are so fun. The muses are really, really talented. And so it's nothing against the cast, again, because they are really, really good at what they do. It does, and the puppetry also really, really neat puppetry. And they're just like Moana has some really impressive puppetry. It just maybe it didn't flow quite as well as Moana. There's some long fight scenes and things like that. It's like, oh, okay, it's a little bit long. So I think it may need a little tweaking. And if you're more fans of the classic Hercules, they took some of the songs and turned them into hip hop songs, which if you're a classic Hercules person, you won't love that. But I enjoyed it. But it's not going to be my favorite. The Treasure and Moana is definitely going to be my favorite.
Oh, good to know. And again, I'm curious here. The original shows versus these reimagined tellings. I am super biased. I love the original shows. Give me Disney Dreams, give me Twice Charmed. Back in the day, there were so many amazing originals on board Disney Cruise Line. And I feel like they've strayed away from those. And I wish they would go back. But what do you think?
They have, you're right. And we call, in the book, we call the Golden Mickeys and shows like that, we call them jukebox musicals because there's so many different songs and movies represented in there.
Yes.
And I think they're very fun. And I do like to see all the different shows represented in there. But I've also enjoyed the retellings a lot. And some people don't love retellings just because they're like, I already know how this ends and da-da-da. I thought Twice Charmed was a good answer for that because it's a show that we all know and love, but they twisted the story. And I think it's a really neat story. I really like Twice Charmed. But I like the retellings as well. They tried one jukebox musical. Was it the Fantasy when it first came out? And the kids went to Disneyland. Do you remember that one?
Oh my gosh, yes, because I graduated from high school when they were graduating from high school. I was like, I am on stage right now. It was the best. I was so upset when they got rid of that.
Yeah, it didn't last very long, and I was a little surprised, but yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if it was up to me, they would do many more originals on board, but I don't make those decisions.
No,
What
I don't.
about the main dining room?
All right, so the main dining rooms, just some differences between them. The Magic and the Wonder, they have the classic animator's palette, which kind of caused a stir in the industry when they first started. I remember being in the Cheesecake Factory of all places many, many years ago, and we had said something about a Disney cruise, and our waiter overheard us, and he asked, oh, did you go to that restaurant where it changes colors while you're eating? He'd only heard of it and how impressive it was. And so the Magic and Wonder have that. They've changed it a little bit over time. So the waiters' clothes don't change colors and all of that. I thought that was a really neat touch. I wish they would do that again.
Okay.
But they have the classic one, the black and white restaurant that turns different colors as you eat. And then the Dream and the Fantasy, that's the red one there on the bottom. They have, it's still Animator's Palette. It's just a more updated version of it. And it doesn't change colors while you eat. It will, Crush will come and talk to you, Turtle Talk with Crush. And he actually is talking to the diners, which is very fun. And on longer cruises now, all four of those versions of Animator's Palette will have Animation Magic, which is such a fun show. As an adult, I didn't think I would be excited about it till I did it. And it was so fun.
Oh my gosh, agreed. Such a blast.
Yes. And then interestingly, the Magic class and the Wish class all have dinner shows, and the Dream and Fantasy, and by that I mean live entertainment. And the Dream and the Fantasy kind of skipped that. They didn't ever go back and add a live entertainment option to those. So like on they added Tangled, they added or Rapunzel's on the Magic, and then Tiana's on the Wonder. And then on the Wish class, they have that big dining room in the round, theater in the round kind of, where they started with Arendelle on the Wish, and then Coco on the Treasure, and Pride Lands on the Destiny. And there's some sightline problems, especially in Arendelle. They fixed that a little bit on the Treasure and Destiny, but they can't totally fix that because some of those are support beams and they just have to have some of them there. But they did fix it by moving some of the serving stations out further out into the dining room and whatnot, or further on the outside. And so that's better. It can be a little bit loud, just like all live entertainment shows. So Destiny is the newest, and Pride Lands, I was positive was going to be my favorite restaurant across the fleet. And I'm sad to say it wasn't my favorite across the fleet. I didn't dislike it. It just wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And I was expecting more of a Lion King version of it. Excuse me, Lion King at Animal Kingdom. That's kind of what I was
Oh,
expecting.
okay.
Like really talented performers and singers, all those songs that we love, but it still has some
Yes.
of that kid friendly, that Timon and Pumbaa are still there, and a little silly at times. And this wasn't. This was much more highbrow Lion King, so to speak. Really talented performers. Some of those songs we love. Some songs we didn't know. One I believe is totally original, and two I think are from Broadway. And I
Ooh.
may have that slightly wrong, but that's about what it is. So I didn't know all the songs, and I wanted to know all of them. And I'm not sure it will hold kids' attention as much as we want it to. So I think that's something we may see tweaked over time if a lot of other guests feel the same way.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me because I feel like that, I get that space and that stage. You've got the retelling space, and live music is great to have throughout, but it seems like such a natural progression to have character interactions or just standing up there, telling jokes. Like I would love to see Mike Wazowski, like a Laugh Factory restaurant or main dining room, and it's
Oh,
just jokes and doors. I don't know. I'm going to throw that one out there to Disney for a future ship. But
right?
I feel like, there's gonna be somebody who's like, oh, well, I have to have characters at dining because it's Disney. But that's really not true. The servers are so wonderful. And, you might have some table mates who you didn't know before, but they become lifelong best friends. So as much as we love the entertainment in the dining rooms, it's not always necessary to have an amazing dinner. So I agree with you here. The fantasy is the animator's experience is just everything.
It is. And I think the dinner shows do a good job of giving you breaks to talk to people around you. They'll sing for a couple minutes and then they'll disappear for 10 minutes. So you can talk to other people, but it is hard to talk to people at times, and your table mates get to know them, or even your family, reconnect with them. And so I did choose a ship without a dinner show, even though I do enjoy the dinner shows, and that's the fantasy. And it's mostly because of that animation, that it was the first ship that had it. And it's just it's a great restaurant.
Yes, I feel like that's something we can challenge Disney on is how do you take that turtle talk? How do you take the animation up a notch? Because it seems like a natural progression for it, but right, what do I know? Let's talk about lounges.
Okay, so yes, lounges. Disney does lounges really, really well, and they're every single ship has at least one really good lounge. The interesting thing, the Magic class and the Dream class both have the lounges all in the same area. And when I say that, I mean the main lounges, not little bars tucked here and there, but main themed big lounges. And the Wish class does not. They are more spread out, and people don't love that. The idea is that you would stumble across a different bar. That's what they were thinking when what they have explained what they were thinking when they spread them out a little bit. But they still have some really good lounges in there. And I am a non-drinker. I'm a teetotaler all my life, and I still love going and sitting in those spaces and getting a mocktail or a Coke Zero or whatever, and just talking to people and enjoying the theming and the music.
Yes.
So totally my opinion here. The best lounge on each ship, I'm going to say in the Magic is O'Gill's. Love O'Gill's. On the Wonder, the French Quarter Lounge, I love it just because I love that trolley car on the side. I think it's really cool.
So cool.
But I also like Cadillac a lot. I like Cadillac. And I guess actually French Quarter Lounge, I included that, and it's not back in the adult entertainment area. It is separate from the others. Um, but Cadillac Lounge is also really, really well themed, really good details in there. Um, on the Dream, I love Skyline. I love Skyline on the Fantasy as well. And the Dream, I also love 687. There is artwork on the walls of 687 that if Disney would sell them to me, I would pay so much money for some of that artwork. I love those photos of the ship being constructed.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Disney, you heard it here first. Sell the lady the photos.
Sell it to us. Give us some
Yes.
copies.
Oh my gosh. But yes, you're right. That artwork, I could totally hang it above my mantle right now. Right
I
now.
could. And I've
Yeah.
been to the shipyard. I saw the treasure being constructed at the shipyard, but unfortunately I couldn't get down right in front of it and take those pictures, those amazing pictures that they were taking.
Oh my gosh. Yes. If we have a time machine, we'll go back and we'll
Yes.
construct the ship so we can get that shot.
That would be
Oh
awesome.
man. Yes. But I totally agree. Skyline is definitely up there for me on
It is.
the dream class. Yes.
Is a great bar. And then on the Fantasy, I love the Tube. It's a nice big space, which is great for popular things like trivia and match your mate and whatnot. But I love London, and it's great London theming in there, right down to the carpet. Yeah, the carpet and the lights. Just love it.
So true.
On the Wish, I really like the Bayou a lot. It's right out there in the middle. They do a lot of family things in there. But it's really cool with the greenery on the ceiling and all of that. I didn't think that I would like Skipper Society as much on the Treasure, but I do. I just love that. I love both of them. The way what they've done with the ceilings in there. It's surprisingly immersive theming for a space that is completely open on both sides with something totally different on either side, and yet it's still surprisingly immersive in there. So that's the Bayou. And then on the Treasure, of course, Haunted Mansion. I mean, you can't. Haunted Mansion's incredible. It is like you stepped off the ride and you're in the attraction there. You're walking around in the attraction.
Oh, so cool. Man.
But I also love Periscope Hub on the Treasure. The Treasure did lounges really, really well. Periscope Hub is so cool. And
I've heard like lots of the details in the Periscope Hub. You know, there you've got right. It's like the ceiling has stuff. It looks like I think you're underwater. The different beverages. I mean,
yeah, it's like
they did not.
There's water over you, and there's sea life that will swim above. It's really, really cool. And
That's awesome.
Destiny did Cask and Cannon, which is very similar to Keg and Compass on the Wish for me. It's pirate themed. Keg and Compass isn't quite pirate themed, but they have a very similar feeling. So if I had to pick between those three, I would pick Periscope Hub for sure on between those three spaces. And then on the Destiny, they took Nightingales and Scat Cat on that same space from the other two ships, and they turned it into DeVille's. It's so well themed. I love the black and white spots everywhere, the hints of red. It's too small. It's too small on all three of those ships, but it's so well themed. Really, really good.
I know. Like Disney, give us more of the grand hall for this space. Like people want to sit in there and have all that great. I mean, the cocktail and mocktail menus in those spaces are just incredible. Just incredible.
They are. There's some of them there, and there's Periscope.
It's just they don't miss on the details.
No, they don't. They don't. And I think I forgot to say, on the Wish Class ship, they also have the Rose, and it's up right by Palo Steakhouse and Enchante. And it's such a nice, quiet space in the evenings. We'll go up there, and most people are already in the restaurant. They've already been called back to their time, and we'll go up there and sit, and it's just so quiet. It's beautiful views if it's still light outside. And I really love the Rose. I highly recommend going up there anytime.
Yes, it feels like a hidden secret going up there. And I mean, I love Meridian too for the same reasons. The views in Meridian are just fantastic. But you're right, the detail in the Rose is just next level. Oh my gosh.
It is. There's the tube there. So yeah, winner is the Treasure.
Oh, love that. And yeah, just the the decor on the Wish class ships. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. But let's
It is.
talk about itineraries. And
So
I just have to say, I love everybody sending in their opinions on these things too. Keep them coming. I'm always so curious to see what people love on board the ships and what they maybe don't love as much. So keep them coming, guys. But let's talk about itineraries and how these match up.
yeah, so the magic and the wonder, both of their big things right now is Alaska. And so they ever the Wish and the Treasure are kind of the anchor ships here. They took over the traditional routes that,
Yeah.
Disney started with and has kept going through all these years. And the 3 and 4 nights out of Port Canaveral to the Bahamas and the 7 nights to the Caribbean out of Port Canaveral. So everything else kind of moved around. You never quite know exactly what it's going to be doing when they announce the itineraries. You might have an idea, but so they move around, which is nice, and to have all these different options. So the Magic and Wonder do Alaska now. The Wonder is staying on the West Coast. So anybody wanting to sail out of California, there's a lot of options for that. The Magic's going back to Galveston, which makes people very happy. And the Dream's going back to Europe. But the Dream is normally in Fort Lauderdale, which is great because it's usually less expensive to get down there. And it's a less expensive option than the Wish and Treasure because they're newer and because Port Canaveral is so popular. And the Dream is such a great ship. It's still a very, new, updated, great ship. And then it'll do Europe in the summer. And then the Fantasy, also, moving around, and right now it's mostly Port Canaveral to the Bahamas. It's got a Southern Caribbean in there, but that's mostly what it's doing. And then the Destiny, the newest one, it is sailing always out of Fort Lauderdale for now, and anywhere from 3 to 7 nights. Most of them are 4 and 5. And 5 to me is a great length of sailing because anything shorter just feels so rushed. Anything longer is great, and I prefer it, and I'll do it every time if I can. But anything longer can be hard to fit in. It's hard to fit into work schedules and school schedules and all of that. And so 5 nights doesn't feel rushed, but you feel like you got enough time on the ship, and it's easier to fit in a lot of the time. So I really like that for the Destiny.
Yes, I agree. That's definitely a nice sweet spot. And somebody's asking, what about the ship in Singapore? I know that that ship is not out yet, so it's not part of this list, but what are the itineraries that the adventure is doing?
That's true. I could not rank the adventure yet. I'll be back in May to tell
Soon.
all of my
Yes.
thoughts on the adventure. Yes, but it is only doing 3 and 4 nights out of Singapore right now. And there are no port stops. It is just every day is at sea. They are saying the ship is the destination. And so that's all it's going to do for now, at least.
Yes. Oh my gosh, more to come on that one. So winter here.
Winner, none, all of them. As I said before, I would pick any one of these ships. I'm not as concerned about the ship as I am where it's going and if it fits in my schedule. And when it's a new ship, I want to get on it, but otherwise, I'm happy on any of them.
I could not agree more. They're all amazing. And if this is the ship at this time, so often, I mean, it's got to be daily. Someone asks, well, which ship is the best? Which one should I take? And I'm like, well, how many days off do you have? Right? It's kind of a word problem to figure out what the best ship is for you in that moment. And that's why having a travel professional like Tammy and her team in your back pocket so that they can help wiggle through. As much as we love Disney, the website and clicking through all those options isn't necessarily the easiest when trying to customize plans. So definitely reach out to Tammy and her team on that one. And I've got to ask before we get into your overall ranks, pools, pool decks, slides. How do those rank for you across the fleet?
Pools. I should have done a slide on pools. So so the Wish class ships have lots of little different pools scattered around. Not everyone loves that. I like it. I think it's a good idea. One pool's crowded, you go to the next one, da, 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 da. And there's some hidden pools like Chippendales on the Wish class ship. It's up there kind of by itself. And a lot of people think it's an adult pool just because it's where Satellite Falls and is on the Dream and Fantasy. It's not an adult pool. I shouldn't tell people that because then more people will go to that pool, but it's very quiet right now.
Yes, I was gonna say we'll just encourage people to use their quiet voices.
Right. You just use a quiet voice. There's no funnel vision there. It's a quieter pool. And the adult pool on the Wish class ships is definitely the low point for adult pools. The other ships all have a much better space for adult pools. That adult pool on the Wish class ship has beautiful views, and it's a very pretty infinity pool, but it's teeny. and it's so crowded by 10 o'clock that
Yes.
it's, and so I don't love the adult pools on the Wish Class ship, but I like the other pools and I love the Chip and Dale pool. And there's also one hot tub on the Wish Class ship, unless you're in a concierge stateroom. There's one hot tub, which is, and only for adults, which is very small as well. um
Yes.
I think if I were picking pools, the best pools, I would pick the Dream or the Fantasy. They've got a
Yeah.
good collection of them. Maybe the Fantasy because it's got the Aqua Lab there for the kids, the big splash zone, which is really neat.
Yes.
And Satellite Falls is such a great space for adults on the Dream and Fantasy. So the Magic and Wonder, the pools are great. They did a good job with them, but I would say the Dream and the Fantasy would be my favorite there.
Yes. If you have kids that are swimmers and they just want to be in the pool all the time, skip bippity boppity, just put them in the pool and sit there and watch funnel vision with your chicken tenders and your ice cream. And yeah, I can still remember being a kid on board and swimming in the Magic and the Wonder pools. I mean, they're just the best. But you're right, the flow of the ones on the Fantasy and the Dream and the Aqualab, you're so underrated on the Fantasy and so underutilized. But gosh, it's a great space.
It is.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Now I want to go to Satellite Falls. But let's get into your overall ranks. Coming in number 7, the Wonder.
Number 7. Number 6 and 7 are interchangeable, the Magic and the Wonder. I still love both of them. The Magic was my first ship ever in 2005. And so I have a lot of nostalgic feelings for the Magic, and I've been on that ship more than any other ship. So that's probably the only reason why I put it slightly above the Wonder. I love both of them. I'm a new ship person. And so even though I love the smaller amount of people and I love the size of both of these ships, I'm a new ship person.
That is totally fair. And we should probably say going into this, whatever ship you might be booked in right now, do not panic when you see
No.
this. They are truly great and amazing ships. Tammy said it earlier, we both would not hesitate to sail on the Wonder or the Magic right here and right now. These are fantastic ships, and we could talk to you for hours upon hours about why we love each and every one of them. But we're just going through a little bit of a ranking here, right? Somebody's got to come first. So number 5, we've got the Wish in there.
I've got the Wish, and I like the Wish. But I had to put the Dream and Fantasy above it because I love the Dream and Fantasy so much. And
Yes.
so it didn't feel right to put them so low on the list. So the Fantasy was always my favorite until the Wish Class came online, and still love the Fantasy, love the Dream, and they've both been redone, within the last year. And so they added the cantina, they updated some spaces. I mean, I really love the Dream and Fantasy.
Yes, they're such amazing ships. And again, Disney's done such an amazing job of maintaining them. And somebody's asking if the Wish is is the Wish gonna go into dry dock? I'm assuming sometime soon.
It is. Is it next summer? Or is it? Maybe it's 2027. The year's going, but yes, we can tell.
Yes.
We can tell based on the itinerary so far that the Wish is going to go into dry dock, and it'll be very interesting to see what all they do to it, because the Dream came out of dry dock with a lot of unexpected changes because it was still pretty new and still really well liked, but the Fantasy had some things that people liked even more, like Satellite Falls. And so for first dry dock, they changed a lot more than we thought they would. So I'm very curious to see what they change on the Wish.
Agreed. I'm like, if they could somehow get that promenade deck situation figured out or add more elevator buttons, I'm still hearing about these darn elevator buttons, people. The elevators are fine.
The elevator buttons seem to be fixed for the most part, but you never know. But I'll tell you what, the Wish, even though it's down there at number 5, when it goes over to Europe for dry dock, it will probably do the summer in Europe beforehand. And I am all over that. When you put the Wish in Europe for the summer, I'm definitely going to be there trying one of those.
I agree. I feel like, and you and I have talked about this before, but I feel like whenever Disney releases a new ship, you've got to give it 7 nights. You've got to. Yeah. I mean, 5 to 7 at least. Give people a chance to love it because, it's interesting here. The Wonder, the Wish, the Dream, those are the ones that historically did the 3 and 4 versus the 7. So there's a trend here, Disney. Get people hooked in with the 5 to 7 night and then scale it back.
It's absolutely true.
Right?
It's absolutely true. 7 nights, you're on it, you love it.
Yeah.
You have time to get to know it. on it. Yeah, I definitely think
Yeah.
there's a 7-night bias. Rank ships, there's a 7-night bias for sure.
Yes. The longer cruises, the most cruises, or your first ship are always gonna be up there. But
That's true.
the Destiny number 2, I thought maybe the Destiny was gonna take your top slot, but the Treasure's coming in first.
I know it's tough because, like I said, I love new ships so much, and I really, really love the Destiny. I had so much fun. I can't wait to get back on her the day after tomorrow. But the Treasure just, it had all of those components come together so, so perfectly that it would have been hard for the Destiny to bump it out. But boy, those two are really close. Number one and two are really close to each other, and the Treasure probably has a 7-night bias on it. That's probably why I put it number one.
Yes. But you know what? It makes sense, and, there's a reason that people love the 7-night sailing, so I feel like if
Mhm.
Disney can integrate those more, I know it's tough to do at the time off, but, you get people on board, they fall in love with the ship, they wanna come back, I feel like it's a great business model, but nobody asked me for my opinion. We have a couple of questions here. What is the first thing you're gonna do when you get back on the Destiny? Any hidden secrets or things that we should know?
Oh, that's fun. I wrote down in my notes of what to do as soon as I get on board is to go through the navigator and look for things that I don't recognize because I would have
Mm,
scrolled right by Dr. Facilier's parlor had I not heard from someone else that had done it the day before. There's so many little secrets in there that you may miss the new activities and you may just scroll right by. So I'm planning on sitting down and going through very carefully and reading descriptions of anything I don't recognize and favoriting all kinds of things to make sure I don't miss them.
yes. Oh, that's such a good way to do it. And if anyone watching doesn't know, in the app, there's a heart next to all the activities, and it'll alert you it's 15 minutes before. So
Yep.
you can remember all of the many things. And let me tell you, the amount of times that I favorited something, and then you're just so happy relaxing on deck. You're like, never mind. I don't need to make Princess Jasmine that bad. It can wait. Oh, well, that sounds like a great plan. And then any pro tips for the Destiny and how's Pirate Night?
Pirate Night is just like the Wish and the Treasure, and I love Pirate Night on the Wish and Treasure. I think it's far superior to the other Pirate Nights, and it's that live music element. Love that live music element, as well as the songs that they're playing. They're very fun. Pirate Night's very fun on the Wish class ships, and the Destiny, it's the same. My biggest tip for the Destiny probably is to look for activities that you don't recognize, especially when like villains are taking over the Grand Hall, things like that. When Loki takes over, Maleficent, she has a show in Saga, and I would not miss that. I would not miss Cruella's treble making with Cruella, I think it's called, in Deville's. There's some of those fun activities that just aren't on any of the other ships, and I would definitely try to get to those. And I would spend time in each of the new spaces. And, even if you're not drinking, go sit in one of the bars and have a glass of water, have a mocktail,
Yes.
and just enjoy the space for a little while.
Yes. Even those, I think you got it, like one of those magic soda pop thingies that has all the, like the glitter looking stuff in the
Yeah,
it's on a magic. Those things look awesome.
yeah,
So
they do.
awesome. And Logan is asking, what about the kid spaces? Is there a ship that's better for kids or not?
That's a good question. I think all of the kids clubs are very well done. The Dream class and Wish class definitely have the newer, overall newer spaces, but they've done a good job too of updating some of the older spaces in the Oceaneers that have been around for a while. I think for teenagers and tweeners, the Wish class has pretty awesome clubs there. I'd probably put those a little bit ahead of the Dream class because even though the Dream class has really good tweener and teens, but the kids clubs are all different. But I think the Wish class because they're newer and they have some really neat things inside there.
Yes, they definitely did a great job with those. And I feel like your kids are going to have a great time no matter where. There's plenty of kids who have a blast on the magic and wonder, and just the same, your kids are great and they're resilient. What about prices for the cruises? If it's a newer ship, does that automatically mean that it's going to cost more? What's the best price to get?
It generally is going to cost more when it's new. And we especially see that with the Wish and Treasure. They came on and after they settled down in prices. They were both much more than very similar itineraries on other ships. And the Destiny is a little bit of an exception to that. You can find some decent prices on the Destiny considering it's a new ship. And part of that is because it's going out of Fort Lauderdale. And so many people love to sail out of Port Canaveral because they can wrap it up with a Disney vacation, and they're so familiar with Orlando in the area that not as many people want to go to Fort Lauderdale necessarily. Although Fort Lauderdale is very easy to get to, and it's super easy to get to the ship once you get to Fort Lauderdale because it's like 15 minutes from the airport. It's just so easy to get there. So once you're more comfortable in Fort Lauderdale, it's a great option to find a good price for a newer ship.
Oh, agreed. We could not agree anymore. And somebody else was asking, what do you think about Marceline versus Cabana? Interesting comparison. What are your thoughts there? Any differences worth noting?
I think Marceline, one interesting thing you'll notice right away is that they serve you your food. In Cabanas, you're getting it yourself. Usually, there's exceptions to that, but you're usually serving yourself. In Marceline, it's built so that they serve you the food, which you may or may not care about. I like the food options at Marceline more. The foods, they have some really good food stations at Marceline that they don't necessarily have at Cabanas, just space wise. But they're really both similar. I've heard some people say they feel like it's more crowded at Marceline than it feels at Cabanas, and I don't know if there's stats to back that up, people versus number of chairs, but it's at Marceline, if they have all the spaces opened up, then it's pretty big in there. So, you're always going to find it super crowded at times, Cabanas or Marceline, both of them. So I like them both.
I feel like Marceline feels more narrow to me for some. Yes, and the Cabanas, that curve that you kind of get out of it. I think give me any buffet, and I'm the happiest of campers. So I'm with you there. And then where was the question? I missed it from Lily's asking, what about theme cruises? Are they all going to have the Christmas ones, or what about the Marvel Day?
They will all have the Christmas ones. The Destiny is not supposed to have a Christmas one this year. It's inaugural season. But what Rebecca and I were just talking about this, it's possible that tree could pop up any day now. It did with the Treasure. It was not supposed to have Christmas sailings last year either during its inaugural season. And then, surprise, the tree popped up one morning. So that could happen on the Destiny. But they will all have Halloween sailings and all have Christmas sailings. Only one of the ship will have the Marvel sailings and one of the ships will have the Pixar sailings.
Yes. And if you're trying to figure out exactly which one you should go on, which ones might be best for your family, they're all, of course, amazing. But we have Joanna asking, where on the ships do you recommend booking a room? I would say reach out to Tammy. The link to her page on the DCL community site is scrolling along the bottom of the screen. But where my family likes to stay on board versus your family, how many kids you have, accessibility needs. There are so many factors involved with choosing like the perfect stateroom. That's where Tammy's expertise. When I tell you, she's got pictures of every category stateroom across the entire fleet. She has got you covered and can help. And of course, like we said in the beginning, her planning services are free. So reach out. And will Star Wars sailings ever come back? Do we know?
I don't know. I would love for them to, but I don't know that they will. Just like I don't think they'll ever come back to Hollywood Studios, the Star Wars days there. But yeah, I would love for them to, but I don't know if they're going to.
I know. We need to start writing down all these suggestions and just put them in our comment cards at the end of the cruise. Just bring them to guest services and be like, if you could just send these to whoever's running Disney Cruise on right now, that would be great. That would be
Mr.
great.
Shot. Let's send him to Mr. Shot. Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I am so curious for everyone to send over their top ship. I would love to hear it. I know for me, I've been very vocal. I love the Fantasy. She is perfect to me in every way. I love that ship. I love the crew. I love the dining and the shows and everything. The magic is up there for me as well. But I also haven't sailed on the Destiny or the Treasure yet. So I'm excited to compare notes with Tammy when I get back from both of these ships eventually. But Tammy, I know you're getting ready to sail on the Destiny. Where can people find you online so that they can keep up with what you're doing and that they can follow along and even buy the unofficial guide to Disney Cruise Line?
Yes, I am. So the unofficial guide here the new one should, I actually thought it was going to come to my house today, and it did not come before I'm leaving, which makes me sad, but it should be here any day. You can order on Amazon, and it'll be delivered December 2nd. I'm getting some advance copies. That's why mine are early, but December 2nd, it'll come out. The new one's available. And on the next screen, I have my Instagram handle there, and it is when I'm on the maiden voyage, I will post a ton of videos. I will post a ton of pictures and updates of what we're doing during the day and all of that. And you can ask me questions, and I will answer, and I will look for things for you if you have something you want to see. And so you can follow me on there.
Yeah, so she is so responsive. She's here to help. And like we've been saying, she is here to be that resource in your planning. So when you're trying to figure out exactly what cruise, itinerary, stateroom, she's got you covered. And her team, they want you to have the best Disney cruise possible. And so many people sharing different ships for their favorite. I love all the different opinions. This is great. This is why we make up the DCL community, right? Oh man. Well, Tammy, safe travels to you. Enjoy the heck out of getting back on board the Destiny. And we will
Thank you.
see all y'all on board real soon. Bye, guys.